watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Hey, welcome to the Post Show, broadcasting live from T Radio V here in Hollywood, California. This is where we elevate the creative cult. This is where creatives can be seen, so thanks for tuning in. I'm Poe, in case anybody didn't know, but I'm sure you do. Okay, on Friday, February 19th at 7 p.m., Dead Coast live in store at Flashback Records, Shoreditch. Some of you might think this is kind of weird, I'm going to London, but London is one of my favorite places, especially Shoreditch. Okay, 131 Bethnal Green Road, London. Dead Coast comes fresh from their debut record release, Shambolic, on Annabelle Records, blessing us with a live in-store set. You'll get to see the British psychedelic surf band in full force and buy a copy of Dead Coast, Shambolic, on limited edition vinyl at the event. The gig is free, and get this. This is great. This is what I love about London. BYOB. So the perfect way to spend your Friday night. So check it out if you happen to be in East London. Okay, Bare Bones Theater presents 1 Foot by Lojo Simon at Sandra Jones Campbell's studio. This is going to freak you out too, but I'm going to do it anyway. 2173 Laguna Canyon Road, Laguna Beach. It's not that far from LA. Finn wakes up one morning to discover that his foot has fallen off. The story that follows is lyrical, stark, intimate, and ultimately redemptive. In this small cast romance set on a lake of frozen water featuring Ava Burton, and at some point, hopefully, she'll be on my show, and Ben Farrow, directed by Mark Miller. Fantastic people. RSVP on Facebook events. Bare Bones Theater presents 1 Foot. Tickets $20 in advance, $25 at the door. Doors open at 7 p.m. So I know that's like going from long distances if you want to, go from London to Laguna Beach, but you have time to plan for that. Okay, so today we're going to do some time travel with vintage pinup, retro, classic Hollywood glamour, and Gothic Americana. Images and sounds of a bygone age. In the studio with me today, please welcome international model artist. I love that, model artist. With a diverse range of styles which include pinup and glamour, Jessamyn Rose. Yay! I know, that's a little awkward. Internationally published freelance fashion, music, editorial, and commercial portrait photographer, specializing in replicating vintage eras, which is so awesome. And pinup, retro, glamour, Holly West of Holly West Photography.
Hi, everybody.
And a fashion, costume designer, and musician, specifically the classy vintage vocals for the Gothic Americana band, the Heathen Apostles, that create an image and sound of a bygone age. Mather Louth! Hi. Okay, so my theme for today is basically we're taking it to the past, I guess you could say, to those eras that were super cool, and it's not, and a lot of times it's integrated into the present as well, or integrated like you can't quite find a time. There's a hint of a time, maybe. A hint of a time, but as fashion and styles come back around, you're not quite sure sometimes. I know Jacqueline DePaul did that, what was it, at the bus station that was Union Station. Oh my gosh, that was looked so authentic to me. So. Do you guys know who Jacqueline DePaul is, and that she works with Leslie Pedraza, the
Not
photographer?
actually familiar. I mean, there's something about Union Station that just gives like an instant transportation.
What a
effect.
I know, what a beautiful place. And she has, like, she just threw a bunch of vintage clothing, most of that she just had. But it looks so, like, authentic. I guess it's your space, too. There's so much to it. It is so hot in here for all you guys that aren't in here and don't realize it is so, so, so hot. Okay. So, we're going to start with Jessamyn. Mostly because you're the first one that I booked on this particular episode. That's the main reason. But also, I've wanted you on for a while now. I think you are just, you have the best reputation as a model. You can, like, morph into, like, anything. So I've heard. You're there. You're professional. Everybody likes to work with you. Holly's worked with you. Holly, what do you say about that? Am I right? Or is it like, oh, my God, she's, like, always late?
Oh, no. No, Jessamyn's very professional. We've featured her a couple of times in Broad and Culture magazine and also on the cover. So always one of the few models that I don't mind taking a road trip with.
Because look at her. She always smiles. And she's just...
Just a pleasure to be around.
Yes, just a little, okay. See, that's what I've heard. Not from everybody. From everybody that I've asked. What do you think about this, Jessamyn girl? I just have to say this really quick. Make sure you talk into the microphone. Oh. So far, you guys are okay, but you can pull it towards you, too, if you want to. Okay, so Jessamyn is from Australia. Do you go by Jess? Do people call you Jess?
Yeah, Jess or Jessa.
You don't care. You just answered it. You don't really care.
No.
Okay. And you were just on a shoot somewhere. Were you in Mexico?
I was in Mexico, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm going to Australia on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where are you from in Australia?
Perth originally.
Oh, Perth.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Cool. You don't go in the water. Is it shark infested in Perth?
I still go in the water.
You just don't go where the sharks are?
Or
the sharks go, oh my God, she's gorgeous. We're not going to bite her.
Apparently there's only one shark attack a year, which I know probably sounds like a lot to Americans, but still it's not a lot for us.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
Is that recently? I mean, isn't there, I'm just going by, like,
I haven't...
this reputation that Perth has.
Yeah, Perth has definitely got more sharks than the rest of Australia as far as I know, but I haven't been home in 5 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Meaning what? Oh, you haven't been to Perth.
Yeah, I haven't been back to Australia for 5 years.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'm now going back on Wednesday.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I thought that was like, for a while, I thought that's where you were. But you came to LA when? You've been here for how long?
I came to LA in the end of 2012. No, 2011.
Okay,
sorry.
So you've been
4
here
years.
for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize that. I mean, because you're everywhere.
Because I travel
very,
so much.
Yes, you're
yeah,
very international.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys need to look her up because you can just write in her name and Google her name, and you will see there's so many things you've been in. You are so widely seen. I had no problem. She was supposed to be on the episode with Brian Lynch, photographer Brian Lynch, and she couldn't make it then, and I was really bummed because I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl's amazing. Oh my gosh, so many looks. I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. Okay. So let's okay. So Holly, what? So you have a deep passion for this nostalgic other era than what we're ever in.
Yes, I do. I mean, I do all different kinds of photography.
Exactly. No, but you have an inspiration in a certain period of time, I guess you could say.
Sure. So
that's something stemming from like childhood, like a long time ago, like
definitely from childhood. I guess I would have to say the biggest inspiration would be from my grandmother, Jessie Swanson.
Oh, I was going to say Evel Knievel.
Oh yeah, I love Evel Knievel. Always had a crush on him ever since I was a little kid. But I was raised by my grandparents, obviously an older generation, so I grew up on Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, the Andrews Sisters, all that really cool, old classic, beautiful music.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then, of course, with the music, my grandparents, having been through that, era, there was also, my grandfather also had some classic pinups collected, and we, old movies were always on in our home in addition to all that great classic music. And so I just always took a notice to the pinups, you know, like the classic.
Took a notice.
Yeah, the Betty Grable and those kind of retro styles. I always wanted to be like that.
Yeah.
But of course, it was like the 70s, and you know, everything was disco. And
Yeah,
when I
it was
a
so
kid, there I am
different. Yeah,
dating
yeah, it
myself.
was so different.
I
huh?
just didn't really like, you know, the 70s style very much. And as I grew up, I actually started off by modeling. I did a little bit of print modeling. Could never do runway or anything like that because I was much too short. So I did that for a couple of years, and then quickly transitioned to the other side of the camera, and you know, just really always enjoyed doing photography. I've been doing it for about 20 plus years.
Yeah, long
So-
time.
but the retro thing only since I've moved to Los Angeles, so about 10 years now.
Oh, just 10 years. Don't
Yeah.
mention years.
Well, it was fun.
Okay, I think we're gonna. I'm really gonna try to keep us on schedule. So
Sure.
we're gonna go to Jessamyn's video so you can see how versatile this model is and how amazing she is. So check this out. So you guys see what I mean, okay? Right? Isn't that amazing? I mean, was that weird for you to see, Jessamyn? I'm just wondering, like the collaboration of all of those different, not collaborations, not the right word, but combination.
I'm probably not good with the it's always a little embarrassing when you not like in a
When
bad
you
way.
see yourself.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's me.
No,
But I
it's-
saw a lot of old stuff there from like when I first started modeling too. So I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know that photo still existed on the internet.
Well, it's important. I mean, you don't drop your past. It's just
No,
always there.
no.
And you know, I think it's neat to see a progression of someone. And you know, I mean, I'm an artist. I'm a painter, and I go back and see things from, you know, a bazillion years ago. And you know, I always think it would be like worse than it is, and I'm like, wow, because there's an innocence about it too.
Right.
That's actually quite beautiful.
Well,
It's
I
like
appreciated that you had a lot of Australian photographers that were showing up there. That when I used to model back when I first started.
you know
about
what?
8 years
I don't
ago.
even know what was there. I just
Yeah.
went by, you know, what I was trying to get. And I mean, it wasn't hard. Okay,
much
so
fun in that.
I'm going to quote you. My passion is to create images that touch people, to bring authenticity and creativity, portraying feminine beauty as the ever alluring goddess. Like, you totally do that. And I mean, she's not only like the I don't know what every, I don't know, I guess the icon of the female in every way, but she's just so sweet and lovely and right. And
Yeah.
I mean, she's just okay. Now that I've embarrassed her, like, totally. Okay. We're going to go now to Holly West photography video so that we can start intertwining all of these things. So, see you in a minute. Okay, what do you think about that? That was pretty great. Okay, so Holly says, I received a Kodak Instamatic film camera for my birthday when I was 12 years old and have had a love affair with photography ever since. And you can tell that you're passionate about what you're doing because you're just, you can see in the photos. And the you really try to set the stage. Of course, the cars help. So
and the pretty models.
And amazing. Oh, my gosh. So, how do I say it? How do you feel about putting, I don't know, because you have the desire for that particular era and look, the hot rods, basically, the cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Model I just kind of goes with it. Oh, well, you were talking about your pinup experience in your younger years.
Yeah, I think when you're
It
trying
just kind of goes hand in hand, I guess, is the part of the era.
I think it's important if you're recreating any era or trying to, do any kind of simulation that everything falls within, as you know, Mather being a stylist.
Yeah, don't have a cell phone.
Specializing in that. Amazing as you are and what you do also. But, you want everything to be within the same era. The car within the same, 54 to 58, the wardrobe to be, whenever possible, to be traditional hair and makeup. So I think it's important to hire models and stylists that can pull off that look. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be anywhere without my stylist, that's for sure.
Okay, and you do some of that as well? Do you do some styling stuff? Well, I know you do lots of costume stuff. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, I work full-time as a costume art model, and so it kind of translates into that world and kind of creating these characters, and whether they're period-accurate characters or they're more fantasy characters.
Yeah, sometimes you add some elements that wouldn't, which is, I think that's the element of surprise is always something so great.
Well, it's kind of a little bit of a contradiction in an interesting way when you do it correctly, where it's, everything is from a certain era, but then you have, just a little detail that's from a different time or place. And that's kind of what my band Heathen Apostles does, because we recreate that sort of old bluegrass roots country sort of thing, but we're still very modern in our stylings.
Exactly.
And,
yes.
I mean, Holly does such a fantastic job of really nailing a feel and an era, and it really does come down to the details because
absolutely.
it comes down
I
to
think-
styling. It really does.
And
Totally.
you know, I think
you.
because you're trying to get a feel. I mean, more than anything, being an artist, it's a feel.
Right.
It's like,
Yes.
and there can be things out of place, but if you have this feeling, this overall feeling that it's this and it's strong, then you succeed. Okay. I have 2 photos that's bringing these 3 together, which is really interesting. And one of them was actually on Holly West's video. But I have a photo one of Jessamyn, and that is that was not in the video, but that is a photo you took, and
Yes.
that was on a cover.
Yeah, that was.
Was it more recently?
It was about 2 and a
Oh, yeah,
half,
yeah, it was a
maybe
couple years ago.
years ago. That was
Yeah.
my first project with Jessamyn. We just went ahead and offered her a cover straight out because we just took one look at her and
Yeah, because duh.
she looked fabulous, and we knew she could pull off a great retro look. And
And you liked working with her.
oh yeah, absolutely. And we've actually formed a friendship ever since that.
Yeah,
that
we went on a
road trip.
big car trip a few times.
Yeah.
That's always the test of a true friendship, is if you can get in a car with somebody and drive for miles and miles
Yeah,
together
For
and
hours, yeah.
still like each other by the end of the trip.
Exactly.
I know the photo shoot turns into like, you know, the photos are all tense and weird. Okay. And then there's also, go to the next photo. I just named it Gloves and Hats.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
And there's Mather. So it's so interesting
Well,
because
gloves.
no, yeah, that's not you, but that's your costuming.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I didn't know that. Weirdly, I didn't know you 2 were connected, which usually happens to me. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Okay, well, I'm going to contact you too, because that would be perfect. And then I just hope that you guys' experience working with each other was good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
this
We
could be
go
a really
back.
interesting show.
Well, we go back probably, close to a decade, I would
Longer
think.
that, like, I think I met you when we first moved, had both first moved.
You know what?
here,
Yeah,
right?
we've
Briefly?
both been out here about
Yeah.
a decade now.
And then-
Yes, you guys
Yeah.
are both about the same amount of time you've been here, right?
I think
Yes,
so.
yes.
And I lived on Beechwood, and you lived
Right.
on Tamarind, or
Yes.
Yeah. And then it was the kind of thing, like, we got together. Mather did the costuming for that one shoot with Angela Ryan, that
Mhm.
photo you just saw.
Who's
And-
also a wonderful model.
Yeah, Angela's great too. And I wanted to work with you again, and then I got caught up in a job for 2 years that was,
Oh, were you in?
Full-time.
Was it design in fashion or something,
I
or something else?
I did photography, web content, and lookbook photography for
No, I'm just
a women's clothing manufacturer. But I'm looking forward to getting back to my own freelance thing now, because I didn't have the time to do as much freelance stuff. So
Do you love it?
Was excited to hear Mather was going to be on here. Jess, I already know.
I thought
so I could
Yeah.
say, hey, let's do some more stuff.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, LA, if you think about
It's
it,
so small.
it's such
It's
a small
ridiculous.
town, especially the longer that you're here.
Yeah.
I don't know, you just make connections if you're lucky, and then before you know it, you're just like, oh,
Well,
I know you, I know
uh,
you.
As a producer on this side of it, what's interesting for me is, it is super small, but it's the creative world. See, I'm all immersed in the creative world, and it doesn't matter, like, if you're a musician or if you're a model or if you're a painter, or
Right.
somehow we all kind of touch at some point, which is it's really great. I mean, I have street artists that know models and designers and musicians, and it's just
Right.
we're all connected by creativity, which is super awesome.
It's
it
the
makes
energy and the ether, so to speak. It's like you're all connected, and we're all putting out creative media, and
we're all
it's
putting
just-
out. Just kidding. I had to say that because that's what keeps the
We're
show
all
alive.
exactly.
We're all putting out here in LA because that's what you have to do as a creative person to be able to pay your rent. Okay. On that note, I know that creepy little stalker is probably in the green room. Brian Lynch, you can come in this room if you want, and if you have your camera, you can take pictures if you want. Creepy little stalker. Okay, just an invitation. Maybe he went away already. Maybe he's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so you guys all know Brian Lynch. I expose him quite often. Okay, so are we on schedule? That would be great. Oh my gosh, we are. This would be a great time for a break. So we'll be right back. We'll see you in a second. almighty Princess Frank beauty and raw talent. Of the band, Princess Frank band members, Princess Frank.
Yeah. Princess Frank, one-man rock show. The Princess Frank aspect of it, it's like I'm very much just as much a lady as I am a gentleman. Put those lashes on, and that last look before I leave the house, I'm just like, that's it.
That's it.
I'm just like,
Do you do the gun thing?
I walk into the venue, got the swag, got my walk, got my gear.
Is that your penis? Megan?
Get my work, and I'm like, that looks like shit. Like, straight up. Like, I'm just like, but that's what artists do. They nitpick. I personally am very hands-on. I barely even use brushes. I finger paint. When I was little, my mom would fall asleep, and I'd paint her going outside looking like a fucking hooker. It's just not going to happen. So
I do it all the time.
So it's funny how like just a short film can turn into a career.
That's what.
Tribal art, and then they do like a really tacky dragon and like an Egyptian eye on like my shoulder. So it was like really bad, but it's all part of the comedy, New CWC TV series.
Good answer.
Yeah, it's going to be a vampire musical. The title is still being worked out. I'm a series regular. I play Insidious. Feature film called Tinnitus is the working title. Shooting in Mexico in March. I got cast as a villain in that.
Hey, welcome back. Okay, so Thursday, February 25th at 6 p.m. Amalgamation at the Hive Joburg, 62 Jetta Street, 2000, Johannesburg, South Africa. Yep, going to a different part of the world. Not Another Art Hub presents an amalgamation, I think that's how you say it, between two cities. An exhibition bringing together Core from Cape Town and The Weird from Berlin, Germany, featuring Zine books, original artworks, and original limited edition teas from each artist. This is not to be missed if you're in South Africa. Come show face, come show love, be about it. I would love to go there and see that, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Okay, Tuesday, March 3rd through the 10th, Reshape at BSMT Space, 5D Stoke Newington Road, back to London. I loved how they said this, because this just hits everything so much on the head, even for our country or wherever. It's kind of an international thing, but this is London. It's time to contort London, releasing fresh work from 5 London-based pioneering practitioners of different nationalities. Reshape brings a fresh wave of new personal pieces filled with a diversity in methods and mediums, centralizing around the activity of breaking and reshaping common ideas, creative constraints, same thing, kind of, and perceptions of the current exhibitive formula. This auto-curated collaboration with BSMT Space offers an option necessary, okay, get this, for promoting artists' freedom and autonomy, forming an urgent, refreshing, and essential alternative to contemporary options. The result stems from a hidden matrix with handmade corners opposing angles and hard knocks. That was written by an artist. Duh. I mean. A collision of conventions constructing questions. These are the first stark answers. Discuss, rectify, reshape. That's London for you. Okay, so if you get a chance, you happen to be in London Tuesday, March 3rd through the 10th. Check that out. That should be super interesting. I have to give my shout-outs to London. Actually, for everybody that knows Danny Wood of London, Hidden Streets of London, he's going to be on my show. He's going to be co-hosting probably maybe a show a month. We're going street art, and he just texted me this morning. He's getting his visa. And we're working on it. So you should see him probably summertime. I would say in the next few months. Danny will be back. And Danny's super great. Okay, so back on the subject of going back in the past. Let's talk about Mather. Let's put her on the spot for a little bit.
No pressure.
Okay, so I love this quote. I always like to have a quote. The times I am singing are about the only point in which I feel I'm not just taking up space.
Oh yeah, that quote.
Well, but it's so funny because the creatives, that's kind of how we feel. Like if there's like this missing part if we're not like doing something creative.
Definitely, and I can tell you that speaking to so many different creative cohorts of mine, no matter what, if we're not involved in some sort of creative project or we're not, about to put out an album or about to...
You keep saying put out, and then I go to a wrong place. I'm sorry.
Hey, now. If we're not actively in the process of creation, you feel unhinged. At least I know I do. And it's very kind of unsettling to not be creating when you're creative by nature. But you kind of need that break from time to time, but it's kind of scary because then you're wondering, is that the last time I'm going to be able to...
No, it's weird. It's like you're in this free fall kind of weird, like Jello mode. It is. That sounded funny.
It's weird, yeah.
Like a Jello shot.
Well, because...
Don't ever do those. Those are hazardous. Oh, my gosh. Have you guys ever done a Jello shot?
Oh, back in the day.
I might have done one or two.
You probably don't remember it the next day, but you
no,
probably do.
How weird are they? It tastes nothing like alcohol. They're so yummy. Like I don't know, like sour things.
Well, I've been hearing stories about the gummy bears that you're supposed to soak in vodka or something. It's kind of like the new Jello shot.
Okay, same thing.
I'm going to keep away from those.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, they get you like hard, and then you're super sick. But they're so fun and so good, and you can't stop. Okay, anyway, sorry. Okay, I don't know how that equated to me as a Jello shot in my head, but you were talking about, okay, so when you're not doing it, then you're, okay, right. It's kind of like this weird, do you feel, because that's how I feel. If I'm not creating something, I feel like I'm like in a, but then if you're actually in the creative mode, then you go through, oh my God, that's a whole journey in itself, right?
Well, it can be, I mean, either way, it's very much draining of your energy, but when you're working on a creative project, at least you know that energy is going to some final end instead of just leaching out, so to speak.
And it usually comes to some great final end. I mean, it always does, except, it eventually does, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, because, when you're creative, you need to create. There's no option. You have to put something out. And for me, I know music is my absolute favorite way to do it because it's the most free. But, I enjoy costume design. I enjoy photography. I enjoy modeling, all of those things. But, there's something about music for me that is always the most freeing because I don't have to think about it.
You actually said that. So she was accepted into the New York's prestigious American Academy of Dramatic Arts, soon found that the true element of theater that inspired her the most was the music.
Yep.
But you have that theatrical aspect of you, hence costume and, the videos that you do and all the, just you put it all together, but your favorite part is the music.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything else kind of feeds into the music. Because, since he just passed away, David Bowie is a great example of his music was so just specific and so creative and unique and everything, but he also crafted the image, he crafted the videos.
Exactly.
He crafted the costuming, like everything fed into that.
It's odd that you say that because it was also so open-ended.
Yes. Well,
at the same time, which I guess is what made him so amazingly great.
Oh, yeah. He was a true artist, and I think he also kind of had that affliction of I have to constantly be creating or else I don't feel like, or I feel unhinged.
Yeah, I don't know if he felt that way or if it was just like breathing to him.
Yes.
Yes. Because somebody like him, I think it was just breathing. He didn't think twice about it. It's just what he did. I think he lived creatively.
Well,
100%
and
of the time.
he died creatively. I
And he
mean,
died
all of
creatively.
his final
Exactly.
artwork was
I
just
know.
amazing.
Okay. Okay. On that note,
Serious
let's go to Mather's video. That would be great, and then we can kind of regroup.
Love once told its bells, lured my lips to drink from tainted wells. My tongue learned poison's taste. Your kiss removes the trace. Skies once filled with light, blinded our perception of the night. Stars we were aside. Haste found their decline. All the promises we made were lies we told. What's to come will never be a band of gold, a band of green once grew up half, cut her legs on razor blades of grass. Years trod down in mud, decayed and drained with blood. Vows once held their own, found the breath that chains that sank like stones. To have and to hold, these words now leave me cold. All the promises we made were lies we told. What's to come will never be a band of gold, a band of long and ever far away, all traces of the hope once shared, now left to rot inside a shallow place. So long and ever far away, all traces of the hope once shared, now left to rot inside a have and to hold. These words now leave me cold. All the promises we made were lies we told. What's to come will never be bent. All the promises are broken and untrue. What's to come will never be borrowed or
Okay, and that's new.
Yeah, that's from our latest album. That was the last music video that we put out called Fool's Gold, and obviously kind of late 20s, early 30s, gangster themed, because we hadn't really done something like that before, but again, kind of tying into what Holly's saying, like getting the details down. And
Yeah. But a lot of your stuff has kind of that, I don't know, it feels older.
yeah.
You know, I mean, as far as the imagery, there was, and I don't really know who wrote this, but I found this and I thought it was great as a definition. Southern Gothic imagery surrounded by haunting minor chord melodies, musical influences including Gothic rock, bluegrass, blues, and gypsy jazz, all deftly bound together by the band's dark and sometimes brooding sense of a bygone age.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, I mean, that's such a great description. I thought that was an amazing description.
Well, yeah, it's hard to describe what we do sometimes.
It takes a lot of really great words, but yeah, I mean, I think this did it, but yeah, it's like a paragraph.
Right. I mean, you always have to kind of think as a creative individual about your elevator pitch, so to speak. And we pull from a lot of different places, but to me, they're all similar places. I mean, obviously,
Yes.
bluegrass music is a huge thing because it's very dark by nature, so it kind of connects to Gothic culture, and it kind of connects to, just all gypsy jazz. Like, all of those things kind of come from the same place.
Yes.
But, they're just different time periods. And, the Old West, for instance, that's technically Victorian times.
Yes.
So we pull that in as well. And, it all kind of just works together in a weird way.
Okay, so, and Holly, you actually also photograph musicians, music.
Yes, I do. I do quite a bit of.
And you
music
did
industry.
some more recent stuff. Who was it that you,
Well, last week I was really excited to work with Albert Hammond Jr. from the Strokes. That was more of a commercial project that I did for a company called Black Star Amps. So I'm doing more commercial work and transition, also, let's see, what else have I done?
but you do have a passion for the music aspect of,
Absolutely.
of photography as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, imagery is so incredibly important. I mean, you can have amazing audio. That's great. Audio's great. We all love music. But to have the visual behind that is just as important. It can
Right.
bring it just everything to the next level. It's such a collaboration, typically.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, especially for live performance, people are coming to see you.
Well, and see you do it in a different way. I mean, you do everything. You have the visual and the theatrical and the musical. You have and the costume. I mean, that's what's so fantastic about her, because there's so many elements of Mather that we can all appreciate, because and being a model, so you know how to like do all of that and bring it all together.
She's multifaceted talent for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of just that it ties back to that quote. It's just like, I have to keep myself creative at all times, be it in a visual sense or a musical sense or whatever, because it keeps me sane.
Yeah.
And, my boyfriend, who's also my bandmate in this project, we work together and we think about the whole vision of the band and the whole sound of the band. It's a whole complete picture. So,
And Jessamyn, you're really pure and true to yourself and to your belief that people should be who they are. Everybody's beautiful.
Yeah, totally believe in that belief system.
So she says, I believe we should empower feminine beauty. No one should try to change themselves to fit into a mold that society tells you will make you happy. So same thing. It's whatever resonates with a certain individual. And I mean, even what that is creative. What that is creativity. That's that aspect of a being, is the creative part. No matter how you're doing it, it's your expression is always the creative side of you.
Absolutely. It's all about not conforming to society and getting in touch with your true essence. I think sadly what's lost in the world, I think, is people trying to be all the same, and I think we should be happy with ourselves and express the difference, because I think that's what makes the world so much more beautiful to live in.
I think that's interesting with you too, because in your shoots, you still have this this newness. You take it and you work with it how you can translate it, whatever they're trying to express, and you the outcome. Every photographer's got to be like astounded and amazed and super happy about what they come out with, because it's positive and it's pure. There's this like pureness about it, but it's like solid, dramatic.
Yeah, I try not to make it about ego and more embodying femininity and the essence of women and what is beautiful about women, rather than an individual-driven thing that it's about the sole person. It's more about celebrating femininity in general.
That's exactly what she does. Is that amazing? I mean,
Mission
I think that's no, that's right. That's amazing. And I've never. I mean, I know a lot of models. I've never known a model like you. like
Oh,
that
that's really
can,
sweet.
take a concept and make it into this reality, but you're not changing yourself.
No, you gotta stay true to yourself. But I think everything should be celebrated.
No, and that's what shows. What do you think about that, Holly? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
do you see that showing through in her
Oh, yeah.
work?
Absolutely. Jessamyn is.
She's not trying to be somebody else.
No, she's not putting on airs. She's not trying to recreate someone else. I mean, she's a chameleon. She can transcend all different kinds of looks and eras, and she's just a very beautiful person anyway. Just inside out.
Exactly. I think that helps. That helps. But she stays true to herself. No matter what,
Yeah.
she stays true to herself. That's super awesome. Okay. So, Holly West, you're actually a San Francisco native. And
That's
so
right.
you did a lot of shooting bands and headshots in the Bay.
I did for a while.
So are you excited to be back doing kind of something like that? Or
Well, when I lived in the Bay Area, I always had a day job, so you have to find ways to make a living, and so back then I wasn't doing it full time like I am now, and I always enjoyed doing it, working with bands and stuff like that, and growing up, around music and things like that. It was always fun and always an interest for me, but not until I moved to Los Angeles. I moved here to work for a fashion designer as her office manager, and struck up a friendship with another photographer in the building, and I just, right then MySpace was on the scene and all the social media.
isn't that MySpace
That's
is
how it
so
started.
weird now?
I know. And he's like, he was looking at my
MySpace.
It's such like a specific time period. It's like, back
Yeah.
in the MySpace days.
It didn't last long though. How
and
weird
it wasn't
is that?
long ago, really. What
No.
was that,
It
like
wasn't.
10
I
years
actually
ago, right?
preferred MySpace very much.
Mhm.
It-
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember
And then-
Friendster?
Oh,
never mind.
Friendster, yes.
Friendster.
Oh yeah, the good old
Yeah.
Friendster days.
But MySpace was cool. You're right. You could put music on it.
Yeah, it was so
and-
much more
Oh,
friendly to
that's
artists,
true.
I think.
No, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think wasn't it initially kind of set up for musicians because all of
Yeah.
my musician friends had a MySpace.
Oh, we loved it because I mean they
it
actually
was
had
better.
you could create a music page and you can put 4 songs up and you can put gig dates. Now it's
Yeah.
like you have to do all these widgets and it's so annoying and it's so obvious. I mean, no offense to Zuckerberg, but he doesn't quite allow for that space for creativity for artists. I think the way that MySpace did because you
Yeah.
could personalize everything on MySpace and it was this is me on
and
social media.
nobody uses it. I mean, I know. I still have a MySpace. I don't know what it looks like. I don't even know how to log in. There's probably like 4 people on it. I don't know, but super weird. But I mean, it
Yeah.
still exists, but
It
nobody
does,
really
and-
uses it. So, what's your favorite social media site?
Well,
for your music,
Bandcamp.
Reverb Nation. Really,
Bandcamp is really
better
good.
than Reverb Nation.
Yeah, Reverb Nation, it's a good tool. You can use it and connect it to
But
Facebook.
you like Bandcamp.
But Bandcamp is fantastic because it's like, we have the album and we put it up on Bandcamp and fans can directly go on the website. There's a suggested donation price.
Yeah.
They can donate more. They can donate less. But the idea is that it's going straight to the band and you can buy merch. And 99% of the time, people give us more for the album.
Right.
Because they're like, I want to support you. It's the kind of idea of like Patreon is supporting independent artists.
And but Reverb Nation, it came out first, right? Didn't it? Reverb
I think so.
Nation?
Yeah. Bandcamp is a relatively new
Yes.
medium, but it's so great because it also kind of gives the fans, I think, a sense of supporting. Because
Especially with the name.
yeah, exactly. And it's like you go onto it, and as soon as you donate or you buy an album, your picture comes up and it says these people just supported you, and so it kind of gives the fans like, yay, I'm helping them out.
I'm
and-
one of them.
But yeah, I mean, definitely Bandcamp, and all of our stuff is up on there. We've got the T-shirts, everything.
Okay, so yeah, since we're on that topic, so where can we find you specifically?
So Bandcamp, I believe it's heathenapostles.bandcamp.com. Social media, we're on Facebook. We have the personal page, the fan page, Instagram, like pretty much all of it. Yeah, just Google Heathen Apostles and you'll
Or
find us.
Matherloth.
Or Matherloth. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the process of getting my website up to 100%. So, but you can find what you need.
It's an ongoing process. Okay, Jessamyn.
Yes.
Where can we find you? I already know.
Tell the world.
Most of my recent work's on Instagram and Tumblr. I have not updated my website for about 4 years.
It's still really a great website,
Oh,
though.
thank you.
JessamynRose.com, so check that out. Okay, Holly West, where can we find you?
You can find me at www.hollywestphotography.com or Holly West Photography on Facebook. Also on Instagram.
Yeah, she's pretty easy to find, too. Okay, anybody who's been on the show or is going to be on the show or whatever, go to www.whatpuzzlepiece.com and you'll find it all. You'll find all the archives. Usually for the show I'm having right now live will be in the archives today, maybe tomorrow, but try to get them on easily. If anybody wants to be on the show, if you think you have potential in the creativity aspect, then you can easily message me on any social media thing, which you can find at whatpuzzlepiece.com. Any of those little things, you just push the button and you're right wherever my social media is. So check it out. We'll see you next week. We're actually going to have Jessica Von Rabbit and Lee Joseph next week. So bring your bunny ears. I'll see you next week.
You are watching T Radio V, Radio and TV.